Hi, my name is Darius Goodall, Director of Product and Technical Marketing here at Extreme Networks, and I'm joined here today with Harpreet.
Hey, thanks, Darius. Great to be here. I'm Harpreet Chadha, Vice President of Product Management at Extreme Networks.
We're here today to talk about the 670 top-of-rack switch, our data center product. Harpreet, tell us a little bit about the positioning of this box. Where does it sit in the data center?
Yeah, so this is Darius's purpose-built 10 gig, 40 gig top-of-rack switches. There are two of them. The design, we know in the data center there's massive consolidation going on with people moving from gig to 10 gig for the servers, and this is the perfect box for the top-of-rack to terminate a lot of servers and provide resiliently, highly scalable connectivity to it.
Great, okay. So let's talk about some of the hardware features of the box. So let's look at the front side over here. What are we looking at here?
You're actually looking at two boxes. There's one at the top is called the 670, one at the bottom called 670V. It's part of the same family. The big difference is one has plug-in 40 gig capabilities that we'll share a little bit more detail later. But in the front, what you see is 48 10 gig ports. They actually look similar in the front because there's 48 ports of 10 gig, SFP plus. You can put in fiber or copper cables into it depending on your type of favored connectivity.
All right, got it. So all of this is non-blocking and there's no shared ports on the front side? Is that
Correct,
right?
absolutely correct. Non-blocking. 48 ports of 10 gig.
Okay, so pretty simple. What you see is what you get over here.
Correct.
Let's flip this around a second over here, and let's have a look at the back side because there's quite a lot going on over here. Starting down in this corner over here, like you said, one of these has got an interface module in it. What is that?
So that is exactly the key difference between the two. We've got customers that just want 10 gig. And then we've got customers that want 10 gig and 40 gig. They want as much capacity as they can get. And that's the two differences that you see here. At the top, there's no plug-in option. The second one, which is the X670V, is where you have an option to plug in a card with 4 ports of 40 gig, non-blocking again.
Okay, so these are 4 40 gig ports. I understand that there's an option here to change the presentation on that.
Yes, good point. So I think what you can do is if you just want 40 gig, you plug in a 40 gig optic, for example. This is one of them. This is the QSFP plus SR optic. Plug it in and you get 4 ports of 40 gig. But like I said, some customers just want to stay with lots of 10 gig. And one option they have is they can take a 40 gig and actually split it 4 ways. This is cable available where you get 4 ports of 10 gig from each 40 gig port. So in the end, what you get in that environment is 48 plus 4 times 4, so 64 ports of 10 gig non-blocking in one rack unit.
Got it. So in the 40 gig configuration then, those 40 gig ports would typically be used to connect into the fabric.
Is a good point. So I think so there's multiple options available there as well. So if you're using it as 40 gig native, you can use it to connect into a 40 gig fabric. You can actually even use it for stacking. You can take 2 of the 40 gig ports here and have them used for stacking. You can stack 8 of these into a very, very high speed 160 gig ring. So multiple options available for you there as well for the 40 gig.
Even more capacity and flexibility there. That's great. Okay, so let's move across now. Let's have a look at the fans and the power supplies. Let's talk about that because there's a couple of options there as well.
Yeah, so it's actually at the base, it's a very, very resilient design that goes with the rest of our portfolio. Yeah, the power supplies are the same way. Yeah, you get 2 power supplies. One is primary, one is secondary. And customers get the flexibility to put AC or DC. So you can have AC power supplies or DC power supplies. You can even mix and match. You can have a primary be AC and the backup be DC because quite a few data centers are wanting that kind of redundant feed into the network.
Right.
And speaking of the resiliency theme, again, the fan modules are set up exactly the same way. It's an N+1 design. So you get 2 that are needed to run a full system, 1 for backup. In the rare case of a failure, you can plop out the one that's not working and put in a new one without disrupting any operations. And one quick note also is these are available in both the front to back and back to front cooling because sometimes customers have environment in the data center where they want the cables from the servers be feeding into the same side of the system. So we offer 2 options where you can either have a back to front cooling or front to back cooling.
Okay, great. So even more resilience there. So I like that. There's redundancy even on the back side of this. There's uplink capability. There's fans that can be front to back. They're N+1 as well.
Correct.
So changing the subject a little bit away from hardware, let's talk about software. What is the software that runs on this box?
So the software that runs is exactly the same as the rest of our entire switching portfolio, which is why a lot of people buy from Extreme. It becomes more from a box sale to a network. What do I do for the network? It runs Exos, modern operating system, very resilient. It's got all of the latest, greatest features that you need for the data center. For storage, data center bridging, all the PFC and ETS features that people want to build, lossless Ethernet in their data center, as well as virtualizations. When people are scale, storage, virtualization are the key themes where people need to when they're looking at such decisions, and we fit right in. We have fantastic features including direct attach that allow people to take advantage of technologies such as VEPA. We have technologies such as X and V for VM mobility, because feeding into these 10 gig servers, on those 10 gig servers are running massive amount of virtual machines. As they move around, you can track them right from the infrastructure. And 670, just like any other Exos box, can track that right from the network infrastructure.
Fantastic. So that sounds really great to me. So I've got a single operating system that has parity, feature parity right across all the entire product portfolio. Even when I'm playing with my with the fabric, I can plug this straight into the fabric, and I've got parity up and down inside the network as well. So that's great. Superb box, great capacity, really low latencies as well, as I understand it.
Absolutely. So this you can get to actually less than 700 nanoseconds. So what you're talking about is sub-microsecond latency in these boxes. So as people are building, again, big infrastructures, 2-tier, 3-tier, this combined with a chassis platform, the latency they get is so small, it's shaking people's head, well, why should I use anything else?
Right. Indeed. Okay. Thank you very much for spending time with us here today.
Thank you, Darius.
Thank you.